What's up, y'all? So I'm going to talk about the Schlage D-Series lever handle retrofit kits. Schlage D-Series is a grade 1 knob. It's been around forever. I think it was probably made in the 50s, 60s sometime. It was very popular for schools, large institutions to put these on their building because they were heavy duty. They were rated pretty much the best of the best knob during that time. However, one problem came along, and that was the ADA, which is Americans with Disabilities Act, and it required a lot of businesses have lever handles. So what happened was all these schools or all these hospitals or whatever the case was had a bunch of doors, and they had all these D-Series knobs already on there, and this law would force them into having to buy all new levers. So Schlage came along and made a retrofit, a lever retrofit for that. I've actually talked about this in our Schlage D-Series video. I'll go ahead and link it up here. It's towards the end. That was a full service, and I kind of included it at the end, and that was about a little over a year ago. So I want to do a whole independent video on just the retrofit, show you how it's put on, because this information in this video will provide you absolutely no future benefit, because this is not a thing anymore. Nowadays, you just switch out knobs with an actual lever handle. However, we're going to look at it anyway because, again, this information is never going to do you any good. But we do need a lever handle. I've got a bunch of classrooms and a bunch of passages, so let's take this up front to the counter and take a look at it. One good thing about the retrofit kits was you didn't have to take the actual lock off the door. You could just take the knob off. I'm going to reach up here to my really never go into area because it's out of the way. We got some core knobs right there. So this is the lever handle retrofit, which is 04-032. Most likely not available. I don't know. They may still sell this. I doubt it, though. Pretty unlikely. So let's take a look at them. D-Series lever handle retrofit. So again, I went over this in the video at the end of that video that I linked earlier, and oh, look at that. An oops plate, a fancy oops plate. So we're not really going to talk about, how to work on D-Series locks or any of that. We're just going to take it out and put this lever handle on, make it its own video. It's just not very common nowadays to put knobs on anything commercial-wise. And very, very rarely will you get somebody that wants to actually buy a D-Series lock. These are pretty incredibly expensive now. You could buy a really nice lever handle for the same price as one of these. So again, we did this in the video, so we're going to go pretty quickly through it in case you just didn't watch that whole video. We're just going to make a short video. You can do this with on the door. It's either handable, so if you got a left-hand door or a right-hand door, you would just switch it from side to side. So basically, while it's on the door, you do what you would do with any cylindrical lock, and you turn the key, poke the retainer, pull it off, and you have to pull the knob sleeve off. I'm going to dig around. I probably have, yep, here we go. Comes with a spacer that was used for one design, a tulip design. This is Plymouth design. I don't think I have a tulip design, but it all came in a kit, sold by the box, and obviously a lot of places that had a bunch of these knobs would typically order a bunch of these to do so that they could come through and just switch them out. So again, you can do it if it's on a left-hand door or a right-hand door. It would go either way. So we're going to go ahead and just pretend it's on the door, poke this to get the knob off. Now, of course, there would be a cylinder in there, so you'd have to turn the key to do that, but no cylinder in it. We're going to go ahead and drop the cylinder in. These can be incredibly hard to get off. Usually you just can't pull them off, and the seam is so close it's hard to pry. So what I'll do is I'll go through and put it right there, and especially if this is corroded or it's been on the door and it's got like a bunch of icky stuff in here. Get a bigger screwdriver and just keep going with it, but since this one's brand new, we're able to get it off. So we discard this part. That part is not used at all anymore. As you can see, from the abundance of brass ones I have in here. So the good thing is you do get a totally useless cap plate when you're done with it. And it comes with this little bracket and 2 little screws. So we're gonna dump those out real quick. Now again, this is pretty much totally useless information because again, you would just replace it with a lever. I just thought it would be interesting to show it. So we're gonna drop our cylinder in, make sure it's set. And we're gonna pretend this is a, say, left-handed door. So we want the knob or the lever facing this way to turn down. You want to make sure it's got this little slit in it. If we look at our directions again, we'll scan over those pretty quickly. We take the knob off, take the sleeve off. If you have the tulip design, which is this shape, you would use that spacer. Otherwise, don't use it. And the little plate goes into the other side retainer and slips back on. Pretty self-explanatory. You just have to make sure that when you're putting this part on that you get this lined up with that tab right there, because that's how it needs to sit in there. And it can be a little bit difficult to get this like seated down. There we go. It's got to be pressed all in. You got to squeeze it on as much as possible because you want to make sure that retainer hole right there is exposed on both sides. And we can see the cutout for the bracket. Again, pretty self-explanatory. The bracket goes down into that retainer slot right there. If it's pressed down far enough, it will seat. And then we simply use our screwdriver after we drop one of the screws to tighten the screws down. And all of a sudden we have gone from a knob lock to a lever handle lock if this was 1985. However, it's not 1985, so you would just replace it with a lever handle. Unless you happen to run across a box of lever handle retrofits and happen to run across a place that still uses perfectly functioning knobs. All that is a pretty far cry. I don't even think Schlage sells that anymore. So again, you just replace it with a lever. But anyway, this is how you did it back in the day. You saved your customer some money by retrofitting their lock with the lever handle retrofit and made them very happy because they did not have to buy a whole new lock. So that is it, really. I mean, that's all there is to it. This is classroom, so key all the way around, locks it, key all the way the other way, unlocks it, and we have a functioning lever handle that would pass code. But of course, it could be broken off probably fairly easy because it is plastic. But anyway, I just thought I would show that again because this came up on Twitter. And I just figured I would do this as a separate video because it is part of that longer Schlage video. Again, absolutely useless information, but if you ever have to deal with one of those, that's what it's about. So if you're ever transported back in time to 1985 or 1990 or 95, can't say exactly when this was a thing, you'll know how to do this. But in the meantime, you still know how to do this because you watched this video, even though it will serve you absolutely no purpose. But it is a good idea, right? I mean, it was a good idea. It was a good idea. Save some people some money. If you have any questions or comments, as always, put them in the comment section. Thanks for watching, y'all.